Hello. We are now here at Mr. Raw's Raw Talks, and this time I did something special because I've reached out to a guy from the other side of the big sea. I present to you Ari Barmapov.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much. And appreciate that you pronounced my name with the perfect accent as well. So that's fantastic.
Good. So tell me, I'm quite excited. What is it you're actually doing? Company.
So I'm the co-founder of Foundation Sales Consulting. We help to take companies to market by building their go-to-market strategy, primarily scale-ups that are from product backgrounds. From the founder's perspective, they're really, really good at what they do. They have an unbelievable product, but they've just never had that much of an experience or that much to do with sales, and they really need help with bringing in a team of people that can take them from where they are to owning their own team and scaling it up.
So you onboard, you create a sales organization, and then you give them back their sales organization, or how do you work?
So that's actually a very, very good point, and that's exactly what we do. So we'll start off by doing an audit for their organization and take a look at, okay, so what are you doing amazing? What do you need help with? And then we create a roadmap for them where we'll say, this is how we envision you growing your organization. They could then take that themselves and do it themselves, or they can enlist our help to go and execute that roadmap for them. And then we'll go ahead and we will build their CRM for them if they don't have one, or in most cases, clean up the data and develop a lot of the lists that they have there and a lot of the analytics that they will need. And then once they have their CRM, their data, their tools, their technologies, and their message built out, we'll then help them hire on a team of people, onboard them, and train them using their process, and then give the keys back to them. And what we like to call allowing them to graduate and taking the reins back and seeing them grow into profitable organizations.
So how many years have you been doing it?
So I've been doing this myself for coming on 6 years now. And then about 2 years, I brought on two partners, which helped me with the consulting side and the RevOps side, which allowed me to go and scale and grow myself. And now we've hired one full-time BDR, and we have another project manager starting next week to handle the load and different customers that we have working with us.
Oh, so you're actually yourself a startup who's about to scale?
Yeah, exactly. We like to joke that Foundation Sales Consulting first client was ourselves.
And how's that going?
Well, getting kicked in the nuts every morning,
I know the
entrepreneurship.
feeling. Oh, yeah, I know the feeling. Became a mentor 12 years ago because my mother died and had deep depression and shit like that. But helping a lot of founders, and I just realized, Jesus Christ, they really don't know what it takes.
No, no,
I
that
would
was
say
actually a
every
very.
fourth founder I had a talk about like 6 years ago, convinced them not to become a founder.
It's actually really incredible, and this has been a new piece of learning for us over the past couple of months. Is a lot of founders really have zero understanding of what it takes to build a sales function. And something as simple as what's a sales funnel is just completely misunderstood and not appreciated. And so really having to build that and give them back that understanding is really empowering for them to fully comprehend what it means. Most people think, oh, we're just salespeople. We just go and call people and magically the money appears in the account. But of course, but it takes a little bit more nuance than that.
Absolutely. I had a company 4 years ago that I called Research, where I created a product called Reality Check. I learned it wasn't scalable because it's a one-time off buying, but the idea of it was crazy. You ask three questions. I don't know. You most likely do it yourself, I hope. But you ask the existing clients, why did you buy from us? How likely are you to recommend us to another client, and how can we improve? You go back to the founder team and the team there, ask them, what do you think are the reasons why customers buy from you? How do you think they are for the solution, and where do you think you can improve to make your customers even more happy? I learned that only one in the organizations really know why the customers buy from them.
Crazy.
So there's one explanation to why many companies are struggling, especially when they're not commercially driven. Because there's only one way to find out why people should buy
To
from you.
ask.
Yeah, you have to talk to the customers.
So it's actually really interesting. We incorporate an additional strategy in addition to that. Because as a baseline, when we first come in, we want to talk with their customers and see what their customers have to say. But in addition to that, we also ask, hey, do you have a list of closed lost opportunities that were really close to the finish line? Because we'd like to talk to them as well and see why they didn't buy. And that's often a lot more enlightening than why people did buy.
Okay, wow. Can you tell me your process? Of course, tell me how I would do it, but
Absolutely. So that would be involved within our next stage. So we have two stages. The first one, like I said, the audit and the roadmap, we call our Power Up program, where we're assessing organizations on their acumen, data enablement process, and technology, which we label ADEPT, the ADEPT audit. After we do that audit and we build that roadmap and findings report for them, which they can then go and take themselves and run on their own. But if they say, you know what, this is really comprehensive, we really love what you did here, we'd like for you to go and build this out into Monday.com and run it with us, the first part of what we will do is determine whether or not their message is sound. So we will go in, whereas in the Adept audit, we're simply identifying what they have. In the second part, where we're actually getting to a retainer, we are looking at, okay, what needs to be fixed from this? How can this get fixed? And so we'll take a look at all of their data and analytics within their HubSpot and their CRM, and we'll start reaching out to their existing clients. We'll start reaching out to the closed loss people, and we'll have these conversations, which
clean
will
up the
then use
CRM.
that. Exactly. Which will then use that to dictate our messaging. We don't just come in and say, hey, so this is what your message has to be, and pretend like we know everything. Come in very much hat in hand and saying, we don't know everything. We know about the foundations when it comes to selling, and we know foundationally what we need to implement on a selling basis. But your organization, you know it a lot better than we do, and you'll always know it a lot better than we do. And so we'll talk to their customers and really get a better idea from them, to your point, why did they buy? Why did they choose to move forward? Why did they not buy? And we'll use that to drive our message.
Makes sense. And I assume it's mostly B2B SaaS you are working with, or what type of companies are you working with?
Yeah, business to business SaaS companies primarily. We do work with service companies as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be a technology. Service companies are fantastic. Like I was saying at the beginning, our first customer was Foundation Sales Consulting, which we built our own business. So we're very familiar with how to build a service-based company for other people as well. And it hits very close to home for us on how to build out messaging and all of that good stuff, because we use our own blueprint as the framework for how to build these companies, which is fantastic because we know it works because we're talking to them and we've sold them. So it's not hard to imagine that it's not good.
The most beautiful
But
way of selling, by the way. Work? Well, you're here at the meeting, aren't you?
it's really funny because our main point of outreach is through cold call. And they'll ask us on the cold call, well, how do I know you're not full of shit? I'm like, we're talking. How often do you talk to people? Wouldn't you have hung up by now if what I had to say wasn't somewhat relevant to you? I got to be doing something right.
So if there are 5 points that most B2B SaaS companies fail with in regards to sales or sales stack, what would that be? Or are there 10? Or are there 20? Or are there 100?
Every single company is different. I'm going to start with that. Say there are common traits in what we see from a business to a business, but every single business that we work with, their constraints have been different. And what is important for one person is not going to be as important for the other. I'm going to use that as a caveat before I answer that question, because I don't want any of the viewers to take what I say as, well, you know what? He said these are the 5 most important things, so I'm going to do these 5 things. Every company is different. I'd say that is the first piece of big advice that I would give, is that do not look at what other people are doing and blindly apply it to yourself. Because for the majority of cases, that will not work. You might not be at the same stage as them, have the same product as them, have the same customers or anything. So take it with a grain of salt. I'd say the very first thing that we will notice with any given organization is that their CRM is messy.
Have one.
We'll take a look at what opportunities they have or deals they have in HubSpot, and some of them might not be real deals. Some of them might be out of date. Some of them might have been created 2 years ago and they're still sitting in deals. CRM is not for the customer. CRM is a way for you as a company to stay organized. And if the tool that you are using to stay organized is disorganized, it is not only the biggest waste of money that you might be spending, but in addition to that, is horrible for bringing in anybody new into your organization because they are coming into a mess. You think about it, if you invite somebody over to your house and everything is strewn everywhere, it's not a good experience.
I don't think I've ever met a company that had a full CRM system. To be honest, I don't think I've ever met anyone. There are a lot of that have been saying it's almost working. Yeah, it's almost working. I'm also thinking, look at it as a CRM. CRM companies' biggest problem is users are not using that product. Now all these new AI add-ons are coming in because I find amazing where you record the whole conversation, sales conversation, and then everything is spit into the CRM automatically. Even if you say, okay, then I'll call you next Wednesday. In the call, it will even have a reminder.
Yeah, it does. It does make it a lot easier for people that they didn't take the 50 seconds that it needed to go and write in some quick notes into the CRM and click send. You know, that 45-second task is now being automated. So good for them.
Yeah, because that's the part that's missing as well. Because when you're sitting and selling, oh, fuck, I have to tell why they said no, why I'm a wanker, why I'm a loser, blah 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 blah. No.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm skeptical of these AI tools that have these things in place, because oftentimes what I find that the most valuable pieces of insight are things that the CRM or the AI will not pick up. For example, the prospects' kids' names, or their ages, or the fact that they went to Little League practice. Those things, I don't know if the AI is going to pick up and put in there. But Stefan, how valuable do you think it is when you're talking to somebody 4 or 5 months later and say, hey, it's football season coming up. How's Jake and Sally's football practice? Did they get in this year? What does that do to their brain?
Does he remember?
How does he remember?
Psycho.
Wow. Like, I can't believe. Wow, he really cares about his process. I'm not even a customer yet. He really cares. This has nothing to do with your product and what you have to sell. Nothing, not a single thing. But all of a sudden, you've built more trust than anything you could have said.
Funny, but because how do you sell? No perspective.
I know you want me to say relationships. That's what you want me to say right now, is that you sell based on relationships.
Oh, no,
and relationships only get you so far. First and foremost, you need to be solving a problem for them. That's a baseline. And that's something that is a misconception that you think that, oh, well, if I'm nice and they like me, then they'll just buy anything. No, they'll just like you.
They'll buy,
But
but they won't buy again at least.
yeah, well, that's exactly it. So first and foremost, you need to present something to them that is valuable, that they see the value, not that you think that they see the value in, that they intrinsically understand and see the value in, and they have attributed a price point to that problem. And then on the second point, you don't
Safe
treat them
model,
like a
isn't it?
paycheck.
It's called the safe model.
Safe modeling?
Sales safe model. That's about getting these things right. Never mind.
Okay.
There are so many frameworks.
There are so many. I mean, I know Medic, I know MedPick, I know Spin Selling, and like Challenger, and all. Everyone comes up with a different one every single day. I'm sure there is a model that discusses it. But at any rate, having something valuable that they have attributed a cost to, and then they are taking a look at what are they paying you to fix that cost or fix that problem. After there's that mutual understanding that there is this problem, there is something that is an issue, an inherent issue with it. Can I see them fixing it? Do I trust them to fix that problem? And that is the part that you lose most prospects. That is the part right there that you are losing the vast majority of prospects.
The customer doesn't understand why this is good for me.
Well, it's not about understanding; it's about trust. They might understand your product. They might not understand your solution. They might understand the problem that they have, but they don't trust that you can solve it. So if you think of any cold call, pretty much any cold call for any business, what's the underlying value prop? I'm going to save you time and money, right? But if that was true, you'd book a meeting on every single person you spoke with. If every single person you spoke with believed you that you said that you could save them time and money, they would book it in instantly. Instantly.
Definitely the only one saying that.
That's exactly it. But because when you say to them, I'm saving you time and money, their immediate thought is you're full of shit. I don't believe you. Or you might be true, but I've been burned so many times that it's most likely to cost me time and money from wasting time with you than it would be to hear you out.
How do you do that?
There's a couple of different ways that you can do that. My favorite is through social proof. Data and analytics. So from the social proof setting, many organizations do not take advantage of testimonials in the way that they should be taking advantage of them. Having someone pop on a Zoom meeting and going and talking as a floating head and saying, hey, they're great, da 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 da. It's not impactful, and it's very low effort and a low barrier to entry. The companies that I see are really thriving with this take the time to fly out, hire someone to do a proper video testimonial, and to put it together professionally. Because then you get the highest impactful statements. You actually can have a script and discuss what needs to be discussed and talked about properly. And you're able to tailor the message that people get.
It's also part of your service that you help customers.
We don't help people with testimonials now. We recommend.
We saw that they are actually making use of them, because I've learned throughout so many, especially startups, they haven't even talked to their existing customers. They tried to send them an email, but
because they're products people. They're product people. They think product. They think if I make the best product in the world, then everyone will love it. And they're not wrong, but you still need to go and push it in the right direction. Like, you can build the best invention in the world, the best mechanical invention in the world. If you don't press the on button, nothing's gonna happen. You have to start the machine.
We do with marketing. You set everything up, because I see, just so you know, this is how I see the process. You have business development first, you have marketing, and then you have sales. business development is sales. It is the creative sales guy who can sell anything, actually have a purpose, a prime purpose to find out why you would buy from me or why you would not buy. Find out what the real value proposition is in your market, what fits with ICPs and all that. That you can start testing on real pains, real pains marketing. And that actually works alongside with business development, calling those who sees the ads and stuff like that. Finally created a process. When you finally have created a process, that's where the SDR or the sales guy comes in. Because in my mind, a sales guy should only focus on the products that he's supposed to sell customers.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. I love the way that that you've spoken about that and that you've laid it out, and that's perfectly correct. One clarification that I would probably add and make sure to talk about is that the business development rep is not the person who's responsible for creating the message or for finding out who they need to speak with. They need to be given a very clear goal. Here's the message. Here's the ICP. Here's what we need to communicate. I just need you to communicate this to as many people as humanly possible. Just keep communicating this. It's for the sales leader. It's for the founder. It's for someone who is higher up to make those decisions and figure that out. And that is something that I see in so many different startup and scale-up environments, that they have this expectation of the business development rep or the SDR that they're paying the lowest salary in the room in order to own and manage the entire business development function, from messaging to who to reach out to data to everything. And that is a surefire way to set your team up for success. And then you push it one step further, and they also expect that person to close the deals. And they wonder, I don't understand why this isn't working. Why isn't it there? Why isn't this working?
Your customers are mainly American, I guess. Where are you based?
I'm based in Canada, Toronto, Ontario.
You're in Canada. Sorry, you're in Toronto, right?
Yeah, but most of our clients are in the US.
Because I didn't hear the about, I guess.
About.
That's on the other side.
I don't know what you're talking about. This here is my Canadian accent. I don't know what you're talking about.
Thanks for everything. Anything you want to add to any B SaaS company whose founder is listening to this? What should I focus on as a founder right now?
As a founder right now, the things that you should be focusing on from just a straight sales perspective, and something that you will be very well positioned, is to figure out a way to communicate your message and pass on that communication to your team. You as a founder know your message better than anybody else. You know your value prop better than anyone else. You're the seller, you're everyone. To be able to communicate that in a very clear way to your team so then they can go and amplify that message is the greatest thing that you can do. And just because you've done it once doesn't mean you're done. Don't be afraid to reiterate on it. Don't be afraid to change it, to try new things. I would say that is the biggest benefit and the biggest thing that you can do as a founder.
I tell that to all my customers as well. I tell them to find the raw value proposition. First of all, go down to the local bar. It's another trick, by the way, as a founder. You go down to the local bar and you ask the guy in the bar, hey, can I buy you a pint? Listen, now I'm going to explain to you what I'm doing. And now you explain me back what the fuck I'm doing. I've done this many, many times, and every time the founder just comes back, shit, I'm actually doing this. Now suddenly his wife and his mother and his kids and everybody around, and even the tech team is like, oh my God, is this what we're doing?
Of course they are. They all want you to buy them drinks too.
Exactly. That's what it's all about.
They're like, oh, Mr. Raw is buying us drinks? Oh man, I'm right here. Here I am.
Amazing. Ari, it was a great Great talk. It was inspiring to understand how cool sales agencies out of Canada operate with B2B sales companies.
Appreciate you having, man. Thank you so much.
Everyone, have a
Bye.
great day.